Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here at Painted Studio. It's Friday. I'm full of projects today. We are going to do a project on our Heat Transfer Vinyl Adhesive. Sorry, babbling. And we're going to do it from beginning to end. So I am going to show you how we work it from the cutter to the weeding to the transfer to the foil, all the way 100% through. We're going to work on a simple project because this weekend is my husband's birthday, and he is one of those people who it is impossible to get a gift for unless he tells you, because he doesn't want an awful lot. And his thing is cooking, so over the years I have given him dozens of cookbooks and dozens of pots and pans and dozens of anything related to the kitchen. And really, we don't need a whole lot more. So now we're moving into something that might be a little more personalized for him. Hey, Maddie. I think that's Maddie. I just took my glasses off. I can't read. Hey, Maddie. Good, it is you. Sorry. So I'm actually going to start two projects just because one has to sit and dry for the live we're going to do later today. But I want to tell you a little bit about the material I'm going to use, so that will help you. And I have to take the brace off, so don't everybody yell at me. I cannot hold and paint with the brace on simply because paint gets in the brace and I make bigger messes. So it's coming off. Boom, there it's. I'm free, my hands are free, yay, 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 yay. It is hot today. It's a warm day here, so I'm a little, right now. All right, we're gonna flip this down and we're gonna go right into our workstation. Now, first thing I'm gonna do, this has nothing to do with the Cricut cutter. This is just something that needs to be done. And every time I do this, when it's not on camera, everybody asks me about it. So we're gonna do a quick prep on this. One of the things my husband likes is really unique trays. And by the way, he's been forbidden to watch the lives for the next 2 days, so I can talk about this all I want. He is not going to see it because he normally watches all the lives to see how the reaction is and what product we were talking about, and so he's learning. Well, he's been forbidden from watching. So this is a 6 by, I don't know, it's like 6 by 24 tile that are on my floors here in the studio. But I have an extra box left over, and I often turn these into either candle trays or trinket trays or food trays that can be interchangeable. So he's a football guy, and we're gonna start this, and we're gonna work on this later today. This is gonna be for football season. So I got him a Bears mask for when he has to be outside. I'm doing tray. We're gonna do a couple cool things for him. So the first thing that happens when you get a tile, you gotta lightly sand it to break the gloss. Obviously this is a fairly matte tile, so that's not an issue. And then you spritz it down, preferably denatured alcohol, but isopropyl will work. Denatured is better, the molecule cuts through more stuff. I have it in an isopropyl bottle, but that's because I want it for the sprayer. And then you wipe it off, clean completely. Now, the next question is always, how do you get stuff to stick to ceramic? So we're using a product from Faux Effects called Prime Etch. Yes, that's my handwriting on here because I dropped the jar and the actual jar from Faux Effects broke. But this stuff is Prime Etch. It is very thin, very liquidy. It is a super high bonding primer specifically designed for hard to bond surfaces like ceramic, like Formica, like laminate, things like that. I've used this very successfully on thermofoil. It's one of the things that actually allows you to paint on thermofoil cabinetry. And I'm just brushing this on. As you can see, it's very thin. A little goes a long way. And it's not going to look like anything. But the deal with this stuff is it needs to set up and cure for at least 24 hours. The bonding, what this does is the name is misleading. It doesn't etch the product, but what it actually does is it kind of works to bond and penetrate and maybe even soften certain surfaces so that the bond is tighter. It's just a chemical reaction between the surfaces, and it's designed really for these really tough to bond surfaces. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'm pushing the dry time because I know the product and I know what I'm using this for. And if it fails, it's 100% on me. When you use this product, do not put the next layer on until you've waited a minimum of 24 hours. It will feel slightly tacky. That's what it's supposed to feel like. You're fine if that's how it feels. You need a full 24-hour cure on this. Okay, now that I've said that again, one more time. Prime Etch from Faux Effects. 24 hours minimum. Do not do what you're going to see me do later. Prime Etch, 24 hours before you go to your next layer. I'm going to keep saying that because I know people want to shorten that. It can't be shortened. I'm going to be doing stuff that's totally against this, but I needed you all to see because everybody asked me about Prime Etch. Prime Etch goes on super thin, translucent, needs a full 24-hour cure. So I'm going to set this to the side, and then we're going to start with our Cricut cutter. All right, I'm back now. Thanks, Maddie, for the share. I appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to angle over here, move lamps out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. For those of you who are not familiar with the tools, this is a Cricut maker. It's a little wider, a little bigger than some of the other Cricuts, and I can run stuff through this that is 2 feet long and 1 foot wide. That's how this machine is programmed. Allows you to do some drawing. This is your cutting blade. I actually need to take my blade out and probably clean it, but I'm not going to do it right now. But this is very simple. You just pop that open. The tool goes in and out of the housing, and the cutting blade is right here. You just drop it back in to the housing like that. Very easy. And I actually have a second blade floating around somewhere, and I don't know what to do, where it is, but I'll find it. It comes with a power cord that you plug into the wall, and then it comes with a USB cord that goes into your laptop or your computer, your desktop, whichever way you're working. And then turn the power on. When you're working with them, you need mats like this. Cricut makes several. This is called light grip, but they have ones for fabric. They have ones for heavier grip. I don't even remember all of them. I know that I've seen at least 3 different colors of pink, green, and blue, and I just can't remember what the other ones are because I only use this one because of the way I work. All right, so we're going to swing back here, and then I'm going to open up my laptop, and then I'm going to show you all the screen once I've logged in. Okay. My computer's not letting me log in the way it normally was. Okay. It's opening itself up. I think it's going to want to do every update on the face of the earth today. Oh, there we go. No updates. All right, so here's my, and I'm one of those people, I don't keep a lot on my desktop. It's just annoying to me. But the one thing I have is my shortcut to my Cricut Maker. So, don't ask me why that's moving it around. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's give it a second to open the program up. And if you all know me, I'm not always the most computer person, so it can take a second for me to get things going right. There we go. So this is part of the software that comes with your Cricut Maker when you buy it. When you get your Cricut Maker in the box, you open it up, and there is a setup process for the program. It gives you the links of where to go. It's very simple. And then you open it up and you have your account, and you see mine says welcome Maury. And if I hit my projects, let's see, sorry, oh, it's giving me Word. I don't want Word. I don't know what it's doing there. Okay, let's open that up fully. And these are some of the things that I've cut recently. So, you know, this is stuff I'm doing for businesses. This is things that I cut for myself. These are items that I cut for other people and things that we have on our website to be purchased as a pre-cut. Let's go back to home. Sorry, I clicked on something with my finger and didn't mean to. All right, so we're back here. So we're back in my project, so you can see all this. And when you go into Cricut, they will give you all these ideas and ready-made projects and things you can go into. And then what you do is you go in here for this drop-down menu. Let me see if I can zoom it in so you can see a little better. Okay. So there's a drop-down menu here. It's new machine setup, calibration management, custom materials, blah, 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 update firmware, all kinds of stuff to do. So the first thing you're going to do is choose canvas, and that brings you back. If you've already got this open, then you would hit new. All right, so I'm going to zoom back out a little bit, and here along the sides you have options. These are templates, so if you wanted to do something for like aprons or t-shirts or backpacks or athletic shoes or banners, you have these shape options to work for. You can also go back into your projects from here, so it'll show you all kinds of options as well as your own. You can put in text. You choose you write what you want. You choose your font. You have shapes, or you can upload stuff that if you have SVG files that you've already worked with. If you've purchased I can't say that. If you've purchased SVG files and things like that from other manufacturers, either from Etsy or from other creative sources, then you can upload them here, and you hit upload image, you hit browse, and let's say, okay, I got a chicken. I just happened to have this file open for something else I was looking for. So you would open, let's go with guinea hen SVG. Okay, clicked on that. Actually, it's guinea heart SVG, but that's hit open. My computer screen happens to be touch screen, so I can do that. Open, and then this image would pop up. We're not doing that right now. We're going a little differently. I'm going in for text specifically. So what I want to do is come up with an idea of something to write. I'm doing an apron for my husband. He's a grill master chef. So I don't know whether I want to do something that says, look up at me. Maybe not quite so close. Let's get me zoomed out a little so you're not looking right up my nose. So if you have some ideas, give me some thoughts on things like King Chef, King of the Grill, King of the Kitchen, Top Chef, Chef in Charge, anything along those lines, anything that you see that would work for that. Definitely pop in here, say something. I know we've had a little bit of odd internet here, so I'm just going to keep going, and hopefully this will come back. I don't know what's going, but we're on low internet. I don't know what that means. Maybe because I'm running two things at once. Hey, we're right back, thank gosh. We had sorry everybody, it looked like I saw this notice come up. We were low internet, didn't work too well. So I'm going back here. I'm so glad that we came back. So I'm looking, if you missed what I said before, I am looking for a phrase like chef, king of the kitchen, top chef, grill master, anything that you have an idea with that wording, I would love to hear. I'm trying to get all the comments back, and of course they're not coming back. I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing. We've had some weird internet stuff today, so be patient with me. I'm gonna try to get my tablet because then maybe I can see the comments since they seem to stop here. Sorry everybody, I'm gonna pull my tablet up and try to open up the comments so I can actually see what you're saying. I'm sure some of you have already posted that that like I froze or something, but let me go into my business page. Give me just a second. This always does take a second when you have to go into another device to open up Facebook and pull up your page. This might be a Facebook thing because my Facebook page is not wanting to load either. Joy. All right, so we're going to go back to this. Oh, I got notifications that my stuff is expiring. All right, so let's come down here. One of my husband's favorite chefs is Alton Brown. One of his favorite shows is Top Chef. He also likes Cooks Illustrated for a cooking magazine. I'm just really trying hard to... Why is our internet acting so oddly? I just keep getting notifications about low internet. I don't know what's going on around here. All right, so I'm going to go back in here and let's start with I'm really struggling for something to come up with on this phrasing. So I don't know why this is such a big deal for me. I can't come up with like Top Chef or something like that. Something unique and fun. Sorry about that. And things are acting interesting. So, okay. Can't be too big because the center of the apron won't hold it. So let's go with top. Let's add text here. T-O-P. Chef. And he likes his name on things, so I'm going to go with Top Chef Dunbar. Okay, so now here's let's move this up. Now what I've got is the basic Cricut text here, but I have up in the corner, I have lots and lots and lots of text options. So the next thing that has to happen is I'm going to choose my text. I want something that reads nicely but looks good. So I could do that one. Well, it would help if I spelled Dunbar right too. I don't know how I did that. It's my own freaking name. So Top Chef Dunbar is nice, but I think it's a little fussier than I want to have for that. So let's keep going down to other, and this comes with tons and tons of stuff already loaded onto it, and then you can add more. I just want a nice font that really pops on here, but isn't like too fussy and annoying. I want something kind of fun. And I'm one of those people who's actually kind of a text junkie. So the font really matters to me. How it looks is going to make a big difference. So I could do, I don't like that one. Let's do this. That's too square. That's too dotty. And it needs to have enough of a masculine feel that it's going to look proper on this. So I want to try it with that. I like that. That font is, I don't know what that font is. Belwy Standard Medium. So I'm just going to do with that one, but I'm going to slide down a couple more just to see if there's anything that really, really stuck out. I also have to tell you, there's so many fonts. I could be on here all day just picking a font. What did I see here? I saw something that was interesting to me. There's that. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. You just got to be patient with me. And this one's called Botanicals. I'm going to see what it does. It's downloading and we're on slow internet, so it could take a minute. I don't really care about that much. Now there's this chalk calm light. This looks somewhere between a painted brushstroke and serial killer handwriting. So I'm going to go with the Top Chef Dunbar that I've cut here. We're good with this. Now the next issue we have to do is size it. So to do that, here's my apron. Sorry, here's my apron. So I need to measure it at approximately the narrowest part here, just so that everything fits properly. And grab a ruler, and we're at about on that. And I'm gonna go from seam to seam because the seams make things harder to press onto. So I'm about 8.5 inches at the narrowest, right there. So then I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna tap it on it and again, and I'm going to adjust my width. So I need this to be, I can go 8.5, and then if I just click it over here to the high, it does that for me. And this is also going to give me an alignment, so I want to center this like that. So now all my letters are stacked nice and neatly. And if my design is big and I need a little help seeing it, I can actually adjust the screen size, so I can take it down to smaller. So I've got it at like 50% of the screen, so I can read that a little more clearly. And I think that's going to look really nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is, let's make sure this is all grouped. And I see it's only loading cutting the T. So we're gonna go to make it, and we're gonna see how this comes up, because that'll tell me, yep, we're fine. So it came up screen. It looked funny on the cutting because it only showed the T on the side. So I'm gonna, now it's gonna show me this here. And this will give me exactly where it's positioned on the screen. And if I needed to, I can touch this, or I can do it with my mouse. I can move it around to place it better. If I had a funny piece of vinyl that I needed to do it with, or if I had one that I needed to fit something else on the piece, I can turn it like that with my finger. It'll shift it in, and I can then, come on, move its placement over here. Now I don't need to do that. I'm just showing you that it can be done. And I'm just gonna move this up here. So now this is telling me, the nice thing is this tells me exactly how wide this is here. So I just need to cut a piece of vinyl that's 9 inches wide and just 6.5 inches long. So that's gonna make my life easier. I'm gonna move this to the side for a second. Oops, I pulled the plug from my cutter out of my laptop. That was not helpful. So I'm gonna set the laptop down for a second, and we need to cut a piece of vinyl. There we go, there's our mat. And we carry this in rolls that are 1 foot wide and 3 feet long. And when I do this on the mat, I just take it, I mount it in the corner, and I roll it down as wide as I need it. There's lots of ways I could put it on a cutter, I could do other stuff, but I have found this is the simplest way. Scissors. And so we said it just needed to be over 6 inches, and so I can cut it at 6.5. And this stuff cuts really easily. So I can even just, when it gets going right with a nice sharp scissor, I can just slide it across and cut the piece. And that way, I really work hard not to waste any of this because I don't like throwing away stuff I've spent good money on. All right, so now the next thing to do, oops, I pushed the phone and it's gonna wanna shoot it out. Now, the Cricut Maker has two little ridges right here and here. Your mat must be fed into them and butt up against these rollers, because once we hit make it, if it doesn't roll in properly, it's gonna make a mess. All right, so we're back to this. I'm gonna go back here a little bit, zoom in on my screen. So we're going to go to, we've got this on here. It's the vinyl is mounted on the mat behind here. We're going to go to continue. It's connecting from the Maker to my computer up top there, and it's going to ask me here what material I want. So I hit browse material because Heat Transfer Vinyl Adhesive is not listed here, but what I have discovered is that it is the same cutting thickness for stencil vinyl. It's a perfect cut for that. You don't need to adjust the pressure, leave it on the normal default. And then at this point, the light over here on the Cricut Maker is flashing. So you hit that. And I'm going to give you my tip. I always, before I hit it, I have my hand on the end of this to make sure this goes through. You have to have stuff mounted on mats because the mat is what feeds through here, and then the mat holds your vinyl tacked down because these mats are tacky. So, feeding it, it is inserted correctly now. If I didn't put my hand, I have found that if I don't put my hand right there to help that push, just make sure it gets in there, it doesn't always feed right. Then, if you look here now, this is flashing and that tells you it's ready to start cutting. And we're gonna let that cut for a second. What you're not seeing is that on the computer, while that's doing the cutting, you have a full progress report on how long it's going to take. Now, I picked something simple so you didn't have to sit here and watch it cut and cut and cut and cut. I've had stuff, some of the more detailed things that you see as pre-cuts available on our website. Those can take a couple minutes. They can take 10, 15 minutes to finish cutting because there's a lot of very fine detail. This is a simple lettering, so this will cut much faster. And we're just going to let it finish up. I've already selected my foil. It's sitting here next to me. And it's just finishing up the last of the cut now that it's hit 100%. Okay, and now we're going to see, please unload the mat by hitting the unload button, which is the other, once again, the flashing button here. It ejects the whole thing. Come back to the computer. It says finish. Come on, finish. And you're done. So you have the option then to come up here and hit save. And I save most everything I do just so it's there. And I just write Top Chef. Okay, I forgot to put connect there. I don't want it public. I'm not giving these, you know, nobody needs to be seeing my Top Chef Dunbar. So I say, why am I having trouble getting the letters in there? T, O, P. I'm a genius. Okay, so it says Top Chef, save. It's saving. And now your project is saved and you could start a new one if you wanted to. I'm gonna close that out. I'm gonna hit quit. Closing up the computer, setting it to the side. And we're gonna take our cutter now, our project out. Now, you have seen me do these before. Weeding them is easiest. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pull this back. I gotta zoom out just a little. You're so close up, you're gonna go blind seeing me. You've seen me do the weeding before. It's way, way, way easier to do it on a dark surface. It makes the little lines pop up. But we also, when we send you either the vinyl or if we send you a pre-cut, we send you these little lights. These are finger lights. They're little LED lights. So if you hold them down, they kind of help illuminate. Plus, I need to move my lamp where I can see things. They help illuminate the lines so you can weed them out. Now, this is a personal preference because I tend to pre-weed things far in advance. I pre-weed the center of all the letters, or if I've got a design, I pre-weed the center. And there's a reason I only pre-weed the center and then leave the exterior for last. It's because this stuff is sticky. Let me pull it off of here so you can see what I'm saying. This stuff is sticky. It's designed to help stick to the fabric when you put this down. So the backing is sticky, and if I weeded the whole thing and then walked away from it, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my letters because I can't remember anything I just wrote and what the words are, so I'm trying to make sure I weed what I'm supposed to weed out of here. But I tend to weed them and then stick them in a file until I'm ready so I can just pull the outside off. Now the other problem with that can be too, if you're a genius like me, I did one of these where I weeded it. I spent hours weeding the most beautiful design, and then I forgot to pull the outer adhesive off of it, and I turned my beautiful seashell into a sea slug. I felt very smart. Of course, yesterday's designs, if you saw me going, you might have noticed that I even foiled on the wrong side of the foil, so now you know what can happen when you do that. And let me tell you, if you didn't see it, go watch it, because it's nothing good. I literally threw out a shirt, turned it into rags because I screwed it up. Now, I am not seeing questions, and that has everything to do with the way Facebook is acting right now. I cannot make it show me questions. I'm going to try to go back into my Facebook page on my iPad and see if I can get it to show me anything. Okay, I can see, oh gosh, there's 14 comments and I can't see any of them. Let me make sure my volume's turned way down so I can come back. And it's actually, that's so weird. It's showing me as, oh, that's yesterday's. Why am I not seeing today's live? It's not even coming up on my page. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Now I can see it. Appreciate everybody's patience. I mean, honestly, I was really struggling. Oh, yeah, Maddie. Yes, we did freeze. Thank you for keeping track on us. I appreciate that. All right, now I've got comments, so at least I can see what you're saying because I couldn't see anything before. Internet's been really twitchy today, so I apologize. And unfortunately, it's nothing I can fix. All right, so I'm peeling this all off. And I'm going to tell you right now, I screwed it up already. How did I screw this up? I didn't mirror it. So I have to move that back. I'm going to pull my laptop up, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did wrong. Because as I'm reading it, I'm like, I shouldn't be able to read that. Because why? We have to turn it down, upside down. See, you all see my mistakes as I make them. I make them all the time. I am my own worst enemy with this. So we're going to pull that out. We're going to go back in here. Because like it or not, I still do have to get this done. So we're back on the mat. We're gonna put that up there. I'll go bring up my laptop again. And we're gonna do this again because what I did, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna pull, let me weed this a second. Okay, this is reversed to you. It should be reading reversed to me. That means I screwed up because what happens is this gets placed this way. Okay? You can read this. I shouldn't be able to. So I screwed up. It should look reversed. And I just threw it aside, but fortunately that was an easy one. I didn't spend 10 hours weeding it. Let me open up my laptop. Give me a second. And then I'll point the camera down. We'll open up Cricut Designs and I'll show you exactly what I mean by mirroring. All right, let's get the Cricut thing open. Come on, open up. I got too cocky. I put it away too fast. Okay. Top Chef Dunbar. Let's open that one up. Customize it. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to fix this. So what this is going to, I'm going to hit that. And what it's going to tell me is I can flip it. I'm going to flip it horizontally. Now it's right. Make it. Continue. I need to pick my material. Now I would normally when you're scrolling down you pick vinyl, but I pick other because if I just do that, I scroll up into vinyl and it makes my life faster. Okay, so now the cutter is flashing over here. I am not feeling very smart right now. And see there, I did not feed that in properly, so I have to take it back out again. I've got to make sure I get this slid in all the way correctly. And then cuts. Okay, I'm gonna weed this other one so when I pull the other one out, you'll understand exactly how I screwed it up. Because sometimes talking about it, and you're already looking at things in reverse on camera with me. Although I did get smart and learn how to write paintedstudio.com backwards. Hope you're all impressed so that you can see that in selfie mode. I was stunned I got it out there. All right, let's just keep pulling the vinyl off. And I'm gonna trim. Okay, so I'm gonna slide this down for just a second. I like to trim off my extra vinyl. These little odd shaped pieces, I've used them for a lot of projects. So I don't want, if I can avoid it, I don't waste any vinyl. I'm just gonna keep weeding on this and while that cuts. Because then we're making good use of time. Trying to be efficient. and it's against my nature. It's absolutely part of my nature to want everybody else to be efficient, but it's not something I'm always good at. Okay, and do yourself a favor. Make sure you've spell checked whatever it is you're putting on a piece of fabric, because quite frankly, once it's on there, you can't fix the spelling. I don't want it to be like a no regrets tattoo. Check your spelling. Okay. Almost done with this, and I'll pull the other one out. And obviously you can see it's a very quick weed. Checked. And we're done. All right, so here is the corrected one. Put it back on the blue mat. And where's my little LED light it's gonna help me, and it would help if I put the light down here. I'm just pulling out the letter centers first because that's what I do. And it was really, I said to myself this morning, make sure you remember to mirror the letters, because you're going to have to lay this face down, and it's going to really look bad if you don't. And what did I forget to do? I didn't look at my own note. Yeah, I didn't I didn't mirror the letters. I might do one of my own aprons the wrong way so that when I'm wearing it on lives, you all can see me. And here's the other part. I need to cut this down right here so I can save that little extra bit of vinyl. That can go to the side over there. You all are so patient with me. And all this white stuff that I'm peeling off, this is the adhesive. And I'm still trying to figure, I hate throwing away this much stuff because I pay good money for it. So I'm still trying to figure out what to do with all of this. Although yesterday it came in handy when I screwed up the shirt, so at least I had a blob of this that I could press onto a piece of fabric so you could see the release of the foil I was trying to show you. Vinyl adhesive everywhere. Now, when you're doing, obviously I'm using these pointed tweezers. You can get them on Amazon. You can get picking tools from Harbor Freight. At some point, if everybody's interested, I may put picking tools on our website and sell them to you if you want them. Whenever you order any of the heat transfer vinyl adhesive, either cut or with a pattern or uncut on a roll, we do give you an LED light, so it makes it a little easier for you to do the weeding. Almost done, and then I could stop being stupid and we can put this on an apron for my husband. Now I might put more on the apron, I might not. I'll take a look at it. You might see me going back at this again tomorrow, because I don't know if I'm going to put football or tailgating or food images or what I'm gonna do. All right, so I've got that done. Now here's what you needed to understand. Here's how I screwed this up, okay? When I cut this, you can read this perfectly because it's in reverse for me, because then I flip it over and put it down. Now, this will read correctly for me because the reason you're getting this backwards is that the camera's in selfie mode, okay? This looks backwards to you, it looks perfect to me, so that when I flipped it over, while it looks right to you guys in selfie mode, it was gonna read reversed. That's how I screwed it up. That's why you must, and I do this all the time. I need to have somebody staple it to my forehead that you have to reverse or mirror your lettering. All right, let me grab the apron. Let me grab the iron. Okay, here is our gorgeous red duck cloth apron. A few years ago, Place was going out of business. I had a whole bunch of these that I bought at the closing out for like pennies. And here we go. So the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to give this a little iron because, yeah, it's been washed and a little crunched. So this will just warm the surface up, and it'll make it smoother for me to apply the transfer. I'm going to set my apron, my iron to between silk and wool. It just works better. The cotton duck cloth can take the heat more than other fabrics. Each one of these, each time you release something like this, you have to figure out which temperature works not just for the vinyl, but works for the fabric. If you do this in a way that you put your iron on way too high, I'm doing this for a reason. I'll tell you why I'm doing this in a second. You can not only melt your foil, you can melt your fabric. Yeah, I've done it. That's what, synthetics are very, very fragile sometimes with the heat. All right, so what I just did is I folded this in half and pinched to the center so I could easily center my transfer, and then I'm gonna move my transfer down, but there's a little piece of vinyl adhesive stuck there that I definitely don't wanna see stuck to this apron. All right, I want to make sure that I've got it nice and centered while the iron's heating up. So I do a lot of stuff like this. Actually, if I really want to make it centered and stop playing with it and guessing at it, and I pull my ruler out. And so we're 10 inches here, 5 is right there. And is that the center of the, oh, yep, we are centered. I just need to pull. I got little bits of heat transfer vinyl adhesive floating around. Now the other thing is this little apron has this funky hook here. I have to shove it out of the way so I can press down here. All right, my iron should be nice and warm. And you can see it's frosty white, and as the heat hits it, it starts turning clear. I'm gonna hold it in one place and really let it melt. If you're using a t-shirt press or a heat press, set your heat press to 325 and press down on the adhesive for 3 to 5 seconds, and then when you put the foil over it, press down on the foil for 12 to 15 seconds. Those are the manufacturer's recommended instructions. And when we send you this, we send you complete instructions as well. We're working on getting them into a tab on our website, but that's my web designer's a little overloaded right now, so she needs a little extra time to get us there. Meanwhile, we send it all to you printed out. And this is like denim. This is like sailcloth, heavier. So we got a little texture to deal with, which means that it could take a little more heat, a little more time to get this well melted to the surface. It can take wool temperature on here, no problem at all. both the transfer vinyl carrier sheet or the film, whatever you want to call it, and the adhesive itself. Now, once you've applied this and applied your foil, these transfers are machine wash cold. And see, I gotta be careful because I'm actually gonna melt the cloth under here. I was feeling something grab and I didn't like that. So I'm gonna put a piece of cardboard underneath. I don't wanna ruin this by melting the table to it. See, that'll tell you how this handles heat. So you're gonna machine wash cold, line dry, do not dry clean, do not iron. This is not meant to be reheated again. And the reason is when you keep heating adhesives, you can actually make them get dry and brittle and chip off. Oh, that came out perfectly. Top Chef Dunbar. I had a great release on there. And you need to release this while it's warm. Do not try to release it when it's cold because you'll end up pulling it right back off the fabric and you'll ruin your design. So we're gonna use our red, white, and blue, or red, silver, and blue stripe foil because that's the kind of stuff my husband likes. Cut a little piece. And then we're gonna put this right over it. And this is actually still so warm that the foil will kind of start to grab to the adhesive immediately, which actually is very helpful. Now, you're gonna iron it, and you should be able to see that your letters are grabbing, or your pattern's grabbing. I can see, it's probably not something you can see on camera, but I can see the R right here, and I can see my T up here. I just need to press it a little more because I haven't given the whole surface enough heat. And then these want to be removed cold. So if you're doing these on a t-shirt board, I found out yesterday, because removing, we have t-shirt boards or sticky boards when we do that, the t-shirt material, and then you have to pop it off there. It's better to wait until it's cooled and you've pulled the foil off the t-shirt to remove the t-shirt from the sticky board than it is to try to remove the t-shirt first and then the foil, because you end up removing the foil anyway and your transfer is not as good. Trust me, I know that just sounded like babbling complicated stuff, but I know it works this way. All right, so now this has to sit and cool, and if I missed a spot, I can go back over it with a little more foil, but do not use foil that you've already put your iron on. It will not release properly. You want to use foil that you've already, that you've cut a fresh piece of that's never been exposed to heat, because the heat changes the properties of the foil so that you cannot easily get any release from it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this back because this is me flapping it. It just needs a little air to get it to room temperature in here. And it's already starting to release nicely. I've got a few gaps, so I might want to go back in with a little more. But let me fold this over so you all can see it. Look how great that came out. Top Chef Dunbar. He's going to love this. Now I'm going to come back with a little more foil, and I will truly carefully align this, because this, you can do that with this. You see, I can see my stripes, so I can just slide it up, put it back on, put a little more foil to get a couple gap spots. But this is awesome. And the reason there are gap spots is because of the way I ironed it. It has nothing to do with the adhesive. It has to do with my ability to iron consistently. And let's face it, folks, I'm not a housekeeper. I was an ironing fanatic in high school, and that's just disappeared as soon as I went to college. All right, everybody. We've been on for a little while. I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna go have some lunch. I'm gonna touch up the spots on this apron, and we're going to set up for the next live later this afternoon, and we're going to have some more fun. We're going to use, we're going to go back to our tile and work on that one. All right, everybody, have a great Friday. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.